Hey, what's going on everyone? This is iReviews back with another video, and today we're talking about iOS 18.4. As you probably know, iOS 18.4 has been released for a few days now. It is quite a big update with a ton of new features and changes, and it actually brings a lot to iOS 18. Now in this video, we're going to take a look at this update, and we have some really interesting features that you probably didn't know about or that are kind of hidden that most people actually won't know about that I think are very cool, and most of them actually very useful, so you must know them and of course use them on your iOS 18.4 device. And we're starting things off with the Shortcuts app. Now the Shortcuts has gotten some really nice updates with iOS 18.4. So let's just quickly go here to the Settings app. So when you go to your settings and you go to apps here, if you go actually to Safari, you will see that you will have the option to actually change the search engine for Safari. So right here at the top you will have search engine and you will have 5 different options right here. And now what you can do with iOS 18.4 is that you can quickly switch to any search engine you want simply by heading to the Shortcuts, tap the plus button right here, and then just search for Safari settings. So there we have changed Safari settings. If I tap right there, tap on where it says autofill, that will be the first one. Tap right there and then go to search engine. Now you will be able to tap where it says search engine and just pick any of the search engines that you have for Safari. So if I just want to go for Bing in this case, I can create this shortcut, and now whenever I want to switch from the default or Google, whatever I use as my search engine, to another one, I can actually quickly do that by just using this shortcut. And what's really cool is that of course you can invoke this shortcut via Siri, so you don't even have to leave Safari in order to change your search engine. So if I just run this, you can see now it has changed my search engine on Safari. And here's another great one that you will find on the Shortcuts app. So whenever you want to find a conversation, maybe a conversation that you do a lot on iMessage and you need to have a shortcut to it, now you can have it with the Shortcuts app on iOS 18.4. So search here for conversation, and then we have open conversation. All you have to do now is just tap where it says conversation. It will show you a full list of all the conversations that you have on your iMessage app, and once you tap that, it will take you directly to that conversation without you having to open the iMessage app and search for the conversation you want. Now this right here is very cool as well. If you have a device with Apple Intelligence, when you invoke Siri, you know that a lot of times, this time it didn't do it, but it will show you right here the suggestions like this right here. And this is actually a button right here. So you will have this logo. You can tap right there to show and hide the suggestions that will appear once you have invoked the Siri keyboard. How cool is that? That's basically a hidden button. On the Photos app with iOS 18.4, you can now finally rearrange your media types and utilities. Now I used to have the screenshots somewhere around the end right here, and most of the time that's the one that I need. I use that folder and the videos a lot. Those I need to be at the top. Now I can finally actually do that with iOS 18.4. So utilities and media types can now be rearranged. You tap the edit button, and now you will be able to actually just move around these and just place them anywhere you want. You will also have a reset button that will reset everything to their default. You can see right here that I have the screenshots. I need them to be right here at the top. Now with iOS 18.4, I can actually do this. Another really cool thing that you can do with iOS 18.4 on the Photos app is that now you can rearrange your albums based on the date modified, which means that the albums that have been modified the latest will be at the top right here, meaning that if you have added like recently photos to any of the albums, you don't need to search them on your albums list. They will always be at the top. So on any album to which you add a photo recently, it will just place it at the top. So in my opinion, that's much useful and way more convenient for you, allowing you to basically explore your recently used albums very quickly. Moving on to the Podcast app. Now the Podcast app also has gotten some great updates with iOS 18.4, and here's one of them. when you tap on your account right there, now you will find settings for podcasts. So you will have here notification settings and podcast settings as well. So the podcast app does have some really important settings that you have to configure the right way. You don't have to actually go to the settings app looking for them. You will now have them right here, and you can quickly go ahead and change things like the downloads for Safari. You can remove the downloaded right there, allow the downloads over cellular. So basically a quick shortcut for you to change any of the podcast settings that you need. Now here's a really cool one. As you might know, with iOS 18.4, Apple has enabled visual intelligence for the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max users. Well, if you want to use that feature, you can now invoke it using the action button, the control center, or what's really cool is that you can even have it on your lock screen. So on the lock screen, we have this way to go to the camera, and we have also another button right here. Why not just switch that button to the visual intelligence button? And you can do that simply by going to the customize screen, tap on customize, and right here you will find the new buttons that have been added with iOS 18.4. Then we have visual intelligence. Tap the done button, and now you have the visual intelligence camera right here on your lock screen. You can quickly go ahead and have access where you can take pictures, ask, or just search for pictures. Another great thing that Apple has done with iOS 18.4, now this is a hidden feature that there's no way to actually show it, but it's really cool. So let's just head on to the settings right here. So if you're on the settings and you go to your photos, you will see we have here a setting to use Face ID. Now this of course has been around here for a while now. It is a button that enables Face ID for your hidden photos. So the hidden photos folder that you have on your Photos app will be protected via Face ID, and that is of course super useful. Now what Apple has done with the new iOS 18.4 is that now those photos that are protected with Face ID are also protected from being transferred to a computer, a Mac, or a PC. Basically, if you have hidden photos, those are not available for transfer when trying to transfer pictures from your iPhone to a PC or a Mac, which is of course super useful. I don't know why this wasn't a feature initially, since Apple has basically introduced us with the hidden photos feature, but it should have been here. Thanks God it's finally here with iOS 18.4. Now one of the coolest things on iOS 18.4 is the new rearrangement on the control center. The way you rearrange things has actually been improved a lot, and you will notice this if you actually use this feature. You will notice when you use the control center, basically try to add like different toggles, remove them, or just move them around is much better. So you can see I can just like place this here and it won't just move around like without control until I just actually decide to hold it here, then it moves them. It doesn't just mess up the control center every time I try to do something. That's actually super cool. Now if you have used the control center before iOS 18.4, you probably have noticed that whenever you try to add or just move around different toggles, it would actually just create a chaos on the control center. Now, in my opinion, it's much better and one of the best improvements of iOS 18.4. And last but not least is this feature right here on the Photos app. I'm not 100% sure this is on iOS 18.4 only. It might be a feature even before iOS 18.4, but I've just discovered it now and it's actually super cool. So whenever I go into an album, I don't have to reach for that button to go back. Just swipe down like this and it will actually move you out of an album. So if I'm here, all I have to do to go back is just swipe down like that. That is actually really cool. I just like by accident discovered it. Maybe it has been here a long time ago, maybe it's new, but I didn't see it before on my device, and it's actually very useful. So that is it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and hopefully found these features helpful. If you did, make sure to smash that like button and of course subscribe for more videos, and I will see you on the next one.